Today is momentous in more ways than one. I like a good momentous day, don't you? But one of the reasons today is momentous is because it's the beginning of Chaitra Navaratri. Chaitra means spring, as in opposite of summer, winter and autumn. And so we're in the spring season in the Northern Hemisphere, but of course here in Australia it's really not Chaitra Navaratri. It's fall Navaratri or autumn Navaratri for us. But it doesn't matter because it's an excuse to celebrate Durga every day, and that's all right with me. As you know, this is set within the framework of our mystery school is practicing Lent this year from the point of view of doing some form of austerity, some form of giving up or going without that we use as a spiritual discipline to crack us out of habits that we would rather change anyway, but we just make a concerted effort about it during this period. And because we're all doing it together, it can be really powerful, more powerful than when you try and do these things by yourself. And so it utilizes the power of the group, which is a wonderful and priceless thing. So that's the first reason why today is an exciting day to be alive and an exciting day to be together in a sacred environment. The second thing that's going on is that one of the largest planets in our solar system, Neptune, is moving sign tomorrow. So today is the actual last day for about 165 years that Neptune will be in Pisces. And it's been in Pisces for the last, 11 or 12 years. Can't remember the exact timing, but it's around that. So it's a slow-moving planet. And when it moves through our horoscopes, it has a fairly profound effect, not least of which because it's moving so slowly. If something just whizzes by, it doesn't really have time to embed its effect in our life. But the outer planets like Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, they are very powerful in terms of the effect they have on us, evolving us into the whole of who we are. So let's think about what's this going to mean. Neptune has been in its own sign, which is Pisces, for this last period of time, since about 2011. And so it moving now is a big deal. Neptune has the effect of, I guess it's an explanation in the Western mysteries of how we would understand Maya in the Eastern mysteries. So Maya is the isness that we all accept is the truth. And because we all put our energy in it, we all plug into it, we all believe it, it stays true. And so you can have individual Maya, of course, which is your own beliefs, your own thoughts, your own way of seeing the world, your own philosophy. But it's more than that. It's what you see from the infinite supply that is around you all the time. What are you taking notice of? Which may be very different from what someone else takes notice of. And so in this way, our realities, even though we're experiencing the very same reality, can get really different, and that's because of our own Maya. Neptune is the planet that has the most to do, I think, with Maya becoming kind of like a trance that we're in, that we can't see beyond. When it moves sign, it has a huge effect because it changes things for everybody. So everybody in the world is going to experience Neptune changing from Pisces to Aries. Everyone will. But all of us have birth charts where our planets are in different places. And so the effect it'll have on us individually might be even more pronounced if we have birthdays in the last, say, 10 days, or we're going to have a birthday pretty soon. Put another way, if your sun is pretty close to 0 degrees Aries or 30 degrees Pisces, if you're in the early stage of Aries or the late stage of Pisces, or if your moon is, or if your ascendant is, you're likely to feel this really, really strongly. And the reason that I think it's kind of exciting is that we have an opportunity to completely metamorphosize the way we see our world. And I'm not sure if you've been following along, but in Mystery School, we've been very much in the flavour of do your visioning, do your visioning, do your visioning. Write down what it is you'd like to experience in your incarnation. What is it you would like to have as your experience of your life? And so I'm going to keep saying it because of this massive change of Neptune coming from Pisces to Aries, which is likely to affect our visioning. Why is this so, you may ask? Well, Neptune in Pisces is very much about our own dream. It's a watery, it's very comfortable there because Neptune rules Pisces, very strong. And it takes the collective unconscious and it plugs us in the way we think it is in a really deep way, where you can sort of get lost in the wateriness, a lot of very emotional, highly spiritual. And you probably know by now that spirituality is very much a two-edged sword, because real spirituality, and when we're pure channels for divine light, love and power, we can access beyond the veil or the Maya or the Neptunian sea, and we can connect with something that's really authentic and true. It still has to come through the Maya, though, to be our experience. And in the Piscean time, it's more watery than normal, you know, and you might notice that during that last period from about 2011 or 12 until now, there's been a kind of a collective interest in spirituality that's been great. It's been great in many ways. Many of us probably have had our spirituality deepened significantly during this time. So that's one of the positive ways in which Neptune in Pisces has been helping us all. But Neptune in Pisces can also cause delusions. It can cause us to lose sight of what's really important and go off on little tangents that become bigger and bigger and bigger in our mind until we can't really connect with what's real anymore. And I think we all do that to some extent. You know, we can all have a propensity to live in a dream state where we think things are like this, but have we checked in with anyone else about their experience? And sometimes everyone else is having a really different experience to what we're having. And then we might want to sort of have a look at, well, what's going on with my Neptunian sensibilities? You know, what's going on with my capacity to conceive of things? And we would assume that there's some objective test. Objectively, this is what's happening. You'd assume that, wouldn't you? But in surprisingly few cases is that actually true, because everything is affected by how we look at it. And even in the quantum physics of the recent times, there's been a discovery, I suppose, and an acknowledgement that the experimenter and their expectations of an experiment is likely to affect the outcome of the experiment. It's more likely to be what they think it will be. And that's the nature of the quantum field. It's the nature of the reality we live in. You could say it's the nature of Maya or the nature of the astral field. All of these things have been rich and really happening. It happens all the time. Neptune's always somewhere. But when it's in Pisces, this is an even stronger thing. So that the capacity for delusion, the capacity for people to get caught up in alternative realities and then fight about what's true is very big during this Neptunian time. And if you think about what happened during the COVID time and how divided people got about what the truth was, and the lies that were told and the things that happened during that time, the misinformation, the suppression of information, the agenda-driven narratives, the selective release of information, all these things that happened during that time. And so people got very divided. And to this day, I still know of families who will not speak to other members of the family because they made a different decision regarding, say, vaccination. So that is, in a way, a low vibrational operation of Neptune in Pisces, that it creates different astral seas that a whole lot of people swim in together and think that their way's the real way and everything else is false. Is this ringing any bells for things going on in the world right now, or what might be going on in your life compared to other people you know in your life? But I also think, I've been watching the political situation in America. It's dear to my heart because I have so many beloved friends in America. And I love the country too. I love the nature there. I love the people. When you're in America, the hospitality is through the roof. It's just absolutely beautiful. So I've been watching closely and looking at both sides. And I'm one of those people who, if my news feed starts sending me everything about one side of a debate, I go in search of the other side because I want to know what the other side is saying, because I know that there's a spin on absolutely everything that we're being sent. And particularly if we're searching online or the feed is showing us anything that has in any way any kind of political implication, you're being spun. You are being spun by your news feed. And so it is that we get spun into more and more separate and diverse ways of looking at the world. And so it's really incumbent on people who are spiritually more aware to start to really look at, well, what's the other side? Because nobody owns truth. Nobody does. So you might say, well, I'm a Republican and I really love what's happening in the Republican camp. I think it's all good. Well, if you think it's all good, you're probably missing something that isn't. And similarly, if you're in the Democratic camp and you go, oh, the Democrats are great, it's really terrible what's happening in Washington right now, I love the Democratic agenda, it's all good, then you should look at that, because nothing is all good. And you should look at, okay, what are the dark bits that I'm not seeing that are there but I haven't noticed? So this might sound like a political speech that I'm giving you, but it's actually a spiritual speech. It's about the spirituality of looking at things in your life, and I'm encouraging you to look at both sides. So I think that what I'm encouraging is even-handedness, and that you really try and find the good in the other side and what's their argument. And it doesn't matter if you're talking about Israel and Palestine, Ukraine and Russia, any of the big things that are going on in the world right now about which you probably have a one-sided opinion because you're subject to Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune in Pisces has been with us, as I say, from about 2011, 12, 13, that kind of time, and has been growing in intensity in Pisces until now it's at 30 degrees, and that's the most powerful time for any planet in any sign. It kicks before it leaves and goes into the next sign. So it's kicking right now. So I urge you to have a look at the places where your consciousness has become one-sided. Even if it's in your relationships, your personal relationships, where is it that you see yourself as holding all the answers and someone who you love being completely obtuse and having a stupid opinion? Have a look at that. Because if you approach from a neutral position rather than from your Neptunian enhanced position, you're likely to see that there's something in what they say. Now, it might only be 1 or 2%, but it could be gold, and it could be something that if you could just take that on board, it would absolutely help that person understand you. It would help you understand that person. It would build a bridge between the different paradigms that are on the planet right now. So that's what's been happening. And I can feel a lot of energy coming in around this discussion. I'm wondering if anyone else can relate to this. Are there others who feel that, yep, I can really relate to the need. I must look at both sides of the equation with these things and stop just trusting the feed I'm getting, when it comes to social issues. Don't just trust that, because it's spun. So now tomorrow, forewarned is forearmed. Tomorrow, Neptune moves into Aries. It'll be there for at least 11 or 12 years. It'll be in the late 2030s. I think it's 2039 or something like that before it leaves again. So we've got quite a bit of time to get used to this new phenomena of Neptune in Aries. And so what's it going to do? And so what astrologers do to try and work out what any particular planet is going to be up to is they look at history and they say, well, what's happened in history when a particular planet has moved sign, because the patterns will be similar. And if we went back to the last time Neptune was in Aries, then that was when the American Civil War happened. Now, that's not to say that there is going to be another civil war. It's not saying that. But it's talking about social movements. So if you remember what the American Civil War was about, and frankly, I'm sorry to our American friends, but we get virtually no education about American history in Australia. But be that as it may, it was about the emancipation of slaves. That was really the essence of the fight of the Civil War. And so this was an enormous civil movement that took place. And basically, we had one group who were entrenched in how things already were and saying, well, you can't have a society that doesn't have slaves. Slavery's always been. Doesn't matter how far you go back in history, there's always been slavery. And so they thought that there'd be anarchy and chaos and horrible social upheaval if there wasn't slavery. And how would the slaves get a job? How would they feed themselves? They'd be destitute. At least we're feeding them. You know, I'm not saying I agree with any of that. I'm just saying that was the prevailing view. And then along comes Neptune in Aries. And then there's a whole bunch of people who hold a different dream. And the dream held by the countervailing force was nobody should be able to enslave another human being. Everybody is entitled to freedom. And so we as spiritual seekers know that one of the laws that governs our lives is the law of free will, and that it's meant to operate for everybody. It's meant to operate for every human, that within every situation and circumstance, we have free will. And look, you could say, well, no, we don't really, because we have to earn an income. We have to go to work, you know. We might not like our work. We might feel like we don't have any free will. But compared to a slave, you do. But anyway, Neptune in Aries was a new beginning, as it always is. And it's trying to bring something of the divine into our culture that isn't there at the moment. So in that case, it was more of a freedom movement. And if we went back further, and I'm relying upon research done by Pam Gregory, who's an astrologer. I haven't had time this morning to check this out, but usually I do go and check source materials. So I'm just putting the caveat on that I have not checked this source material. But sometime back in earlier history, when Neptune was said to be moving from Pisces to Aries, was when there was an English civil war where the slaves, or they weren't called slaves, they were called serfs, revolted. And they said, we're not going to be tied to the land. You can't stop us from moving off the land where we work. And that was the thing. They were bonded serfs. And so the idea of bondage got dissolved in that turn of the spiral. It's the sort of thing where you think life is one thing. You think this is the way it has to be. You think nothing can change this. I'm stuck with this. Neptune goes into Aries and everything changes. I want you to look at your own life and what is it that you've accepted as this is the way things are. And it is absolutely the time to be looking at your vision for how you'd like your future to be, because it's all Maya and you might as well enjoy it. So there's nothing locking you into the way things have been except that you believe it so. And you have to challenge that if it doesn't feel comfortable to you. And challenging Maya is kind of hard work because you have to be consistent with it. Just writing down a few thoughts about how you'd like things to be and then putting it in the corner under a whole bunch of other papers is not going to do anything. You have to actually look at it, gather images on it, think about it, meditate on it, put it where you can see it, look at it regularly, and be clear in your focus about how life is going to be different, and know that you have the astrological heaven-sent energy of Neptune moving from Pisces to Aries to open agendas for you, to change Maya, to actualize your new vision. And it'll be doing it for the next 11 years, but it's really, really strong as it leaves a sign and as it enters the next sign. It's like hugely strong. And so this is the time, beautiful people, for everyone to take responsibility for making the time to focus on your vision. It's also said that in this same transit, around the same time, Helena Blavatsky was planning the Theosophical movement and started it. She launched it in this same sort of energy. And the Theosophical Society was a major force for evolution in human consciousness, in my view. And the work that was done about understanding thought forms, the work that was done about understanding the nature of the soul and the divine and the etheric field, fabulous pioneering work to bring it out, not into the complete open, but to bring it out so that a group could study it and that it went all over the world. So I see Shanti Mission as having a similar kind of destiny in this turn of the spiral. We've been plugging along now for 24 years or something. It had to be surrendered. It was then rebirthed by Ma Durga when I was in India in October. And it feels to me that the vision for Shanti Mission is more important now than it ever was. We need a vision of peace. And our work is important to that. And so in your visioning, I'd really appreciate it if you could also put some yummy stuff in for the future of Shanti Mission and us being a powerful force for peace in the world moving forward, and that our teachings, which really help people find peace and help people with depression and anxiety, help people with relationship issues, all the things that we know that this work does, to see it becoming more mainstream, just see it becoming part of a social movement that, well, of course people understand that they've got a spirit and a soul, and that we're no longer living in a culture where people think that the material, physical existence is all that exists. We don't want to live in that culture. So even putting that on your vision board, that we live in a culture where spirituality is deemed as real, and people are exploring it and utilising the gifts that it has to offer, that would be a huge leap forward from where we are at the moment as a mainstream culture. A few comments have come in while I've been talking. And for anyone who's got Neptune conjunct their moon or something like that, it can be very potent. And anyone, in fact, who's got anything at all in Pisces can have a very potent time as Neptune changes sign from Pisces to Aries. All right. At last Navaratri at fall, our community member Sundari left the physical dimension. How exciting that I'm moving into her apartment during Chaitra Navaratri and taking it over. Oh. And as some of the community members of Shanti Mission know, this apartment has been the first office of Viktor Frankl before he got deported to Auschwitz. I didn't know that. Why didn't I know that? That's amazing. Viktor Frankl was a psychotherapist and psychiatrist who was amazing in visioning and did huge vision groups during his time in the concentration camp in the Second World War. I do remember that people who did that visioning work of seeing themselves going home and resuming their life had a statistically much larger chance of actually surviving. I do remember that, and that his theories were proven true. That's just amazing. Congratulations. Can we hope for a less diluted astral sea with Neptune in Aries? Well, you can hope. But you've got to understand that Maya is Maya. It always exists, and it emanates from every person, and then that which is in common clumps together and forms your culture. So it's really about steering it more than hoping we don't have it. You see, it's really about which delusion do you prefer? Because at the end of the day, it's all a delusion, because the only thing that's real is the infinite. The only thing that's real is our souls. And you could say your energy field is real because it's an infinite thing. It's always going to exist. Your energy field, your spirit is always going to exist. And so from my perspective, I think that any of the colouring and flavouring that we experience around that, you could say it's our delusion of choice. So just like you have a beverage of choice, you can have a delusion of choice. And your delusion of choice is what you're experiencing in your life right now. And you might say, but I didn't choose that. And I'm saying to you that on some level you did. You mightn't think you did, but your conscious mind is not across a whole lot of what's really going on, about 5%. That leaves 95% of the rest of you, your soul, your spirit, your subconscious, where it probably chose exactly what's happening now, or your ancestors did, or the culture in which you live is set up that way so that this is the experience you're likely to have. So what I'm saying is challenge it. I'm saying utilize your spiritual tools so that there's an inner revolution possible. We don't need an outer revolution. We know how painful and damaging and destructive that can be, but an inner revolution would be fantastic, where we all really start to think about what's important and what can I put my vision into, what can I put my energy into. And particularly when we do these things together, then it's very, very powerful. Great to be reminded, important to look at other sides of the story. Absolutely. And you can do that as a kind of a game. And at first you might go, Shakti Durga's telling me to look at the other side of this. Ugh, I really don't want to do it. And that's where you really need to do it. Because your spirit has entered into one side of the equation and you won't even see the potential of the rest. You're not owning anything there. Do you see what I mean? So you're lopsided and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse until you won't be able to discern anything. You'll be led like a donkey by the nose. And I would prefer that we're not donkey-like in our expression of the life force, because we're a mystery school. We're meant to be able to pierce these veils and behave in ways that gives us more freedom. Neptune in Aries could potentially be global cognitive dissonance, the change of perspective, which may be turbulent but ultimately create lasting and positive change. That's the idea. The idea is evolution. And the planetary energies that bombard the astral field all the time, which mainly we don't notice. The culture we live in has a particular perspective about stuff. And when Neptune changes into Aries, that perspective is likely to radically change. So be ahead of the curve. What I find with transits is that if you utilize the transit, it will be a productive force in your life. If you choose to ignore it, and like, oh, I can't be bothered, sounds a bit out there, I'm not going to do anything, it will do it to you. It will do you. And so instead of that, it's better if you do it. And so ride the wave. And the wave at the moment to be riding is Neptune. And the way to do it is start setting up a new vision for yourself. And one of the things I've noticed about people doing visions is that often it's very limited because we think it's got to be about what I feel I can personally achieve. But the whole idea with a vision is you're inviting the divine to the party. And you're saying, I surrender this to the divine, which can do anything. So please make this vision I'm holding a reality. Of course, you got sort of details like the law of attachment to worry about or not worry about, as the case may be. So we do have to not be attached and to have the joy now. But basically, I think you're getting the drift that spend some time on your vision boards in the next week or two would be very, very valuable. Neptune moving into Aries, says another, invites us to step into a new vision. Yes, that's the key. So you need to have a vision to step into, a new dream, and leave behind the fantasies, illusions, and deceptions that may have shaped our perceptions of reality while Neptune was in Pisces. Yeah. As Neptune moves into Aries, we enter a new era where dreaming can no longer be passive. We're being asked to take action on our dreams and visions by integrating our personal will with an awareness of the divine's universal plan and where the divine will is leading us. Wise words, my friend. Really beautiful. Yeah. Take action on our dreams and visions for sure. Yeah. And move into a new one. Yeah. And then transhumanism, AI, does endanger our global community, so visioning the spiritual reality is important to maintain. Yeah, and it's like there's risks with everything. And I wonder what our forefathers and mothers would have thought about the coming of electricity when that first started to come in. I wonder what they would have thought. I bet you there would have been a whole bunch of people who would have been excited about the possibilities that it could bring, and a whole bunch of other people, probably the majority, that were terrified that everyone was going to die. I bet you anything. It'd be an interesting piece of history to have a look at. And in every one of these turns of the spiral of history, there are some people who benefit and some people who don't benefit so much. And so again, we want to do both personal and transpersonal work on an issue as important as AI. And in fact, our retreat in Tasmania recently, we did a lot of healing around AI. And I think it's very wise that you've raised that. Thank you. Yes, and another says, we might say we didn't choose to have something going on in our life. And that's true from your conscious mind's perspective. But what we focus on grows, that's right. And bringing more divine into daily life is a beautiful vision to hold. Absolutely. And that we be instruments of the divine to bring peace and harmony and balance into the world. That was a lot, wasn't it? But there's a lot going on. So let's now do some work on that, because I feel like this is the game. It's the big game in town right now. All right, so just let everything I've said swirl around. Swirl, swirl, swirl. You don't have to remember it all. Just let it come into your energy field. Let the energy of my words come into you. And just notice what your mind does with this information. Ah, interesting. What is my mind doing with this information? Is it rejecting it? Is it thinking about it? Did it go in one ear and out the other? So thank you, conscious mind, for whatever it is doing with it. And now just breathe in and hold and allow the discourse to come right into your being. As we call on the Supreme Being, Divine Mother and Father, we call on our souls and the divine within. We call upon Parameshwari, Om Parameshwari, Om Parameshwari, Om Parameshwari. We call on Lord Shiva, Lord of the dance, Lord of consciousness, and the infinite light. We call on Lord Babaji, of the universal consciousness in which we live. We call on Yogi Raj Amajoti, Om Anand Om. We call upon the Divine Mother by all of her holy names and styles, particularly Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Narayani. We also call on Bridget of the Holy Wells and all of the loving faces of the goddess, including Arta, Urta, Grunye, the Pleiadian sisters, and Polaris. And we ask for the spirit of Neptune and the turning of this age of Neptune from Pisces to Aries. We ask that this lift us and empower us to experience things we could only ever have dreamt of. to bring into manifest physical form the dreams of our heart and soul, to overcome all barriers and hurdles, and for the Maya to completely be transformed, that our lives are transformed, and that we have more potency, efficacy, capacity, that we have all of the resources required and desired for our dharmas to be made manifest, manifest, manifest. And we ask for the blessings of the divine to direct the planetary energies in the way that would be most beneficial for us and for our collective mission, Shanti mission. And may we be pure channels for divine light, divine love, and divine empowerment. And we ask this in full faith, so be it. So be it. And breathe deeply in and hold. And take a minute to think of something that would delight you, some change in your life, in your own personal life, that you would find delightful. If I had, if I was. Think of something that you feel would really enable you in your life. And smiling at that vision, and we'll tune our chakras to be able to receive the physical, the earthly, the fiery, the watery, the airy reality of what it is we just dreamt. And imagine that you can hold this dream steady in your mind for a couple of minutes, something that's really clear for you. Hold it steady and say, through the grace of Parameshwari, I ask that the movement of Neptune, from Pisces to Aries, happen with as much ease and grace, and fulfillment of my desire, to enable my dharma, that it's miraculous, amazing, and a grounded boon, that I experience in my life. Through divine grace, so be it. And breathe deeply in. And we're going to do the chakral activator, which calls on the elements and the name of Namah Shivaya. So focusing on the chakras as we ascend from the base up to the crown. We'll do each name 3 times. We'll do it call and response, just in case there's people who aren't so used to this practice. It'll be easier. So just start with 3 ohms. We'll do each one 3 times. So starting with the base. Nam lam, nam lam, nam lam, mam vam, mam vam, mam vam, simram, 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 vamyam, Vam yum, vam yum, yum hum, yum hum, yum hum, Shiva Om, Shiva Om, Shiva Om, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Om Anand Om, Om Anand Om, Om Anand Om, Om Shanti Om, Om Shanti Om, Om Shanti Om. Breathing into your pillar of light, and let the idea of Shanti and Anand, bliss and peace, fill your pillar of light as it traverses your body from top to bottom, connects you through your Earth Star Chakra into the Earth grid, and from there goes out with the universe in a big circle that comes in through the Pleiades, through our sun, and in through the top of your head and down and in through your grid, and then into the earth, and then up it goes again and in through the Milky Way, in through the Pleiades, in through the pole star, right down through the core of the earth, connecting with you through your Earth Star Chakra. Om Anand Om, Om Shanti Om. And say, may the planetary energies in which my life dance takes place, combine with magnificence, to beneficially affect me during this current transit of Neptune out of Pisces and into Aries. May heaven on earth vest for me. In accordance with my vision and Dharma. So be it. And breathe deeply in and hold. And then start at the base chakra again. Nam lam, nam lam, nam lam, mam vam, mam vam, mam vam, simram, 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 vam yam, vam yam, vam yam, yam hum, yam hum, yam hum, Shiva Om, Shiva Om, Shiva Om, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Om Anand Om, Om Anand Om, Om Shanti Om, Om Shanti Om, Om Shanti Om. And breathe deeply in and releasing out through the back of the body. and just be aware of your whole body and feel it rising up through all the layers and sheaths that are you, and feel it coming from the physical into the etheric, that you're presencing your etheric body, your chakra system, and that you follow your pillar of light, that you follow the pillar of light through the astral sea into the Briatic world of the soul, the higher soul, from whence you came. And feel yourself emerging into the world of the sun, like you're on the sun. It's so brilliant, and there's no real thoughts here. And then imagine that beneath you, the astral field is just going through the turn of a kaleidoscope from one set of patterns to another. And this new turn of the kaleidoscope is integrating the light of your spiritual practices since Neptune went into Pisces in around 2011. So just thinking about that all of the light of all of your practices is now enlightening your astral dance and the Maya, the collective consciousness in which we live, and your individual placement in consciousness. That you just surrender what was. You just let go. It's like you jump and blink, and everything just changed in the blink of an eye, literally, in the blink of an eye. Imagine yourself jumping so high in the air that you touch the sun that welcomes you as a beloved child. And then beneath you, all of the Maya changes to bring forth your vision. It just sets it up for you like a kaleidoscope that's already turned. And the new pattern encompasses your deepest held truth of vision, the part you play in the turning age into which we're entering. And just sending love into the astral field. And then jump back in from the serenity and sanctity of the sun and the Briatic world, jumping into the astral sea with a big smile on your face, knowing that we are playing the game of life in an exalted way, and that we wave at Neptune, who waves back at us and laughs at all the ways our consciousness was glued into place before. Now it's not glued into that place. It's changed. There's a change. You're in the cusp of change. And the further you come down towards your own spirit, your own body, the further down you come, the more solidified the new vision becomes. As though the wind can blow away the old, as though the fire can burn away the dross, so that there's clarity, precision, and beauty. The beauty of the divine never burns. And then imagine that all of the rain washes away the old Maya, and the earth receives the new imprint. The imprint is fueled by your spirituality, your practices since 2011, and onward, whilst Neptune was in Pisces. And feel all that light bombarding the potential for your life. And little things like, it's like snap, crackling and popping like Cocoa Pops for those who are Australians. The popping of rice pops. As things are audibly moving out. Like unwrapping the present. That is the new present. And it's the gift you've given yourself as well. Through the use of your mind, your body, your energy, through your growing connection to the divine, and the revelation of your Dharma, may it be fully manifest and realized. Nothing will give you greater satisfaction than the realization of your Dharma. And others will always benefit when we're in a dharmic flow. And so feel yourself now opening into the world where your fondest dreams, enormous as they may be, have come into fruition. And the treasury of heaven has opened. You are admitted. What would you like, says the divine? What would you like? Ask and it be given, said Lord Jesus and others of great wisdom. Ask and it is given. Ask and it is given. And I ask that the full beauty of the plan of Shanti Mission be made manifest, and that all of us have a place in this that will bring our hearts into the most glorious rapture. And may we utilize all of our spiritual connectivity, the divine of our choice and understanding, Eshwara, Eshwari, our own personal deity, divinity, connection. Make it stronger than it's ever been. And how wonderful that we can come together as a collective where some may revere Jesus and others Amma and others Guru and Yogiraj, the earth. And come together we do. And we bring peace in that togetherness. And sending love into your preferred side of any equation that you've been one-sided about. Sending love into it. And then send love into the other side. Send love into the side that you've held disdain and judgment about. For whilst you hold disdain and judgment, you'll never see the glimmers of truth that are in that side. And so sending love to both, and ask that your consciousness expand to hold two ends of a polarity in a peaceful way. And that you be a bridge, a living bridge, not any longer being a holder of disdain and judgment and separateness and fear, but being a bridge, a way shower, an inspirer. You can all do this. And just touch your heart and bring everything that we've just done into your heart center, and then down into your fire center, just touching your solar plexus area with the palm of your hand, and just feel the fire of bliss racing through your whole body. And then coming down, again we'll do our Nam Vam Lam mantra, going up through the chakras and into the pillar of light with this practice. Nam lam, nam lam, nam lam, mum vum, mum vum, mum vum, simram, 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 vamyam, 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 yam hum, yam hum, yam hum, shiva om, shiva om, shiva om, namah shivaya, namah shivaya, namah shivaya, om anandom, om anandom, om anandom, om shanti om, om shanti om, om shanti om. And breathe deeply in and hold. And feel a brilliant light like the sun descending from the divine as a gift, coming in through the top of your energy field, through your pillar of light, and as it descends through crown and ajna and throat and so on, the gold seems to stick with each of the chakras, as well as spreading through the rest of your energy field, spreading through your body, the golden light that is so potent and creative. Aries is the cardinal sign of movement, of beginning, of a new start. The power to take action. Mars is the ruler. Mars is all about action. And just bathing in the divine bliss. And just keep the breath slow and deep. Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Shanti, Om And just breathing in all the blessings of peace, all the bliss of Shanti, and the light of the infinite, let it flood through you. And smiling at the incredible thing that is creation. And may we all play our part in the unfolding plan of evolution, expansion of consciousness, balance, harmony, peace, and life that is in alignment with the spiritual laws. And we ask blessings upon our families, on our children, our ancestors who were living in different Maya. May they be blessed. And blessings on our community, on the full Shanti Mission community, past, present and future. And blessings on the wider community, particularly the country in which you live, with which you're connected. And to all the places you visit and where you have friends and family. Blessings to those communities as well, as the blessings travel through the lines of light. Blessing, blessing, blessing. We also ask for blessings for Mother Earth, that there be clean water, clean air, clean soil. We also ask that all of the artificial intelligences being birthed are programmed with consciousness that has compassion, care for the earth, and care for humanity built in. We ask this in full faith, so be it. Stabilize. Thank you, everyone. So we are at the beginning too of Chaitra Navaratri, the journey of the goddess in overcoming and defeating all of the obstacles, all of the illusions, all the delusions, all the darkness being defeated. So what an auspicious day for us to be able to meet together and to enjoy the concepts that we have. Blessings on you and your families and on your plans for the future. Lots of love. Bye.